Good, good afternoon, YouTube. This is me, Ray George Pay, aka the Emperor, Female Bodybuilding Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. As you know, this is Muscle Talk episode number 35. It's 35. I mean, I could have had a lot more, but then I had issues with my computer, you know how life is. Anyway, um, we talked a little with Jared, and we wanted to do a part two about the New York Pro. You know how the outcome of it, predictions, how it's going to be like after this show. So this is going to be serious. Like anybody who's interested, who want to come on, if because I sent the link to Jared, and Jared has a busy life. I can't fault him. But anybody else who's interested, let me know. I'll I'll shoot you a link, and you can come on. We can talk about back and forth about it. So anyway, as you know, it's been about a week or so since the New York Pro, and if except for New York Pro is a show, it was one of the first shows that featured female bodybuilding for the season. There's been other shows. There was I think this weekend they had the Ultima over in I think in Louisiana, I believe. I think it's in. Also had the St. Louis Pro, but most of those shows have no female bodybuilder attached to them. They're purely basic shows that the IFBB back, like that's men's bodybuilding, bikini, fitness and physique, and that's pretty much it is. But no women's bodybuilding, and New York Pro is the first real women's bodybuilding for the season. So anyway, as you know, the winner of that show was Leah Denny. And Leah was, for a good while, was a competitive physique competitor. But she decided to switch divisions. And for that, she's rewarded the opportunity to compete at the this year's Olympia. That's pretty good, on your first, like this is kind of like come up at bat, hitting a home run, especially, with a show like New York Pro. If you know anything about it, the New York Pro, as I said again, was started by legendary Bev Francis. Bev Francis. Bev Francis is one of the most legendary women in sport bodybuilding. She has been, I think, 2-time runner-up Miss Olympia. She's been like a good part of her career. She wins a few shows here and there, but generally, she's been mostly like a runner-up, or she made the top 5. So after she retired from bodybuilding, she started a gym, and then she created her own show. There goes Jared. Here goes Jared. We start talking. Go.
Hello, George. How's it going?
How you doing? What's up?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right, I appreciate it. Anyway, as you know, I was saying to the people out there, people that are watching, we appreciate y'all watching. Like, subscribe, share. Also, like I said, I have my Cash App, my PayPal, and also my GoFundMe in the thing. If you got a few bucks laying away, hey, I take it. But anyways, this is about the New York Pro Part 2, and we're doing like our predictions and also what we think the outcome of it. As you know, I was saying before, Leah Denny won the New York Pro, taking first place in women's bodybuilding division, and she was, before then, she was a physique competitor, but she did pretty good. I mean, like I said, she comes in, makes a debut as a bodybuilder. And here's the thing also, I found out she's from Texas, like Myla Ash. So, 2 former physique competitors on their first pro women's show now automatically are going to the Olympia. Yeah, that's something that's rare, because like I said, I remember I was doing my interview with Jada Beverly, and she mentioned that both her and Myla, after I think they were told that they might need to go to physique. As you know, Jada Beverly, she's a former physique competitor, and she's supposed to be competing in bodybuilding this year. I forget what show she said. I think she's one thing. I think Mila said she had some. Jada said she had issues with her knee, and I think she might, depending on how long it takes her, we might see her maybe if not this year, next year. It's all dependent.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
It is pretty interesting with all these new physique competitors coming into the sport and reviving it in a lot of ways. And you had Andrea Shaw and others. Um, um, yeah. I did go over the New York Pro footage finally,
Mhm.
and basically from what I took from it, I think uh, uh, Annie Sheehan, she should have been first, honestly.
Mm, I don't know, Annie. Annie's been about it for quite some time, but she took some time off away from the sport. She left around about she turned pro around about the early 2000s. Then she took some a few years off. She started doing powerlifting. And Annie's also, she competed last year, but ways and looks of her, she's getting a little older. And when she first, when I've seen Annie back in the day when she first started, Annie was impressive. She was huge, but I think she might need to work a few things. I mean, those years she mostly focused on doing powerlifting. Really, powerlifting is more about performance and presentation. And she looks pretty impressive, but I will say first. Now, if one thing is, I think she should have, maybe like I was on Facebook. I follow Tamara McCare on Facebook, and we were chatting, and she felt like she should have got first. And honestly, I think maybe second. She came in pretty impressive, and she looked way better than Ladon. But I think second, because if you really look at Leah came in a little shredded. The only thing she needed was to bring her legs, and that's the thing she needs to really do: bring her legs.
Yeah. I think that's pretty a good summary of it. Yeah, either like first or second. I would put them somewhere in that category.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
all women are very impressive, and it takes a lot of skill to get to that level. But
Yeah.
yeah, I took a few takeaways and notes as I was watching. Um, I noticed that uh, Wendy Sanchez, she
Mm-hmm.
had a big tattoo on one of her side or on her back side. I felt that this uh, distracted a little bit, simply because it was out of symmetry.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, I find tattoos for the most part on bodybuilders to be a little bit distracting. So there's that. Um, I found who's back? I think uh, Leah Denny. I think her back was probably the best of any of them. Um, I think Tamara. Um, I found her. I feel like she needs to work a little bit on her posing. I find her, like a little bit like moving around too much during like the final presentation. Like moving arms back and forth. It's like I think she needs to learn a few things from like other competitors, like Sheila Black or something, are
Yeah.
better at posing and those kind of things.
Well, I think she needs to probably Sheeta Black or maybe Janine Lukowski, some a couple ladies who are good posers. That'd be something to work with, and also with Winnie Sanchez, she looked a bit kind of around the abdominal, she looked a little bit kind of like bloated.
Yeah, I noticed
Yeah,
that too.
she could have been a little more tighter. I think she'd be better off. To me personally, I think she'd be better off in physique because she is a little bit small for the division. I think, like I said, like I said, I was chatting with some ladies who are fans of who are bodybuilders. One of them who right now she's going to be, as you know, I just did a video for one who's going to be out, and from information I get from a good amount of them, some of them were trying to get into a first shot to the Olympia. That's why they did New York. That's why some women came not as well prepared as it was before.
Yeah,
I think they just want to get a shot at the Olympia. But I think some information is that I think you get so many points, and you get so many points, and when you have enough points, you can you go by point system. You go to the Olympia, or you win. This is
yeah,
the two ways you get in. And with Dawn, she's been around for a long time, but Dawn was also a physique competitor in her career. And I think somebody mentioned to me also that she really could have just maybe held it back a little bit, skipped this show, and maybe probably shoot Puerto Rico or the Omaha, which probably would have been a show for her because most of the other women are probably going to focus on the bigger shows, like maybe the Chicago or the Tampa. But like I said, New York also has a good amount of points, you know, and that would have been better if she just maybe focus on either the Omaha or the Savannah or maybe the Norfolk, you know, and then also uh, one of about that lives in Canada. I'm a fan of Miss Tana Hugh. She dropped me some information that there's going to be a Toronto Pro coming up. I think towards the end of summer, right about August. But I said, I think most is going to be, I think, a lot of Canadian competitors. Unless like one thing is, some competitors, you think about going to Canada and competing or like that, you have to do a quarantine. That means 2 weeks, solitary confinement in the motel room. You have to have evidence that you did it, or you might have to get a motel room right around near the border or something like that. And then then you can compete at the show. But then you have to do another 2 weeks back. So, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people feel that confinement's too long. And then also with the thing with the New York Pro, a lot of the overseas competitors from Europe and other countries were able to make it here because travel restrictions. And that I think that really hurt. You don't have enough. That's one thing I think one thing got hurt bodybuilder for a good while when back in it wasn't that many competitors coming from Europe and other countries like Europe, South America, stuff like that to come here to compete. We don't have so few bodies. Mostly just have a lot of American competitors, and
yeah,
and I think in that show you had Tamara McCarr, but she lives here in the United States. But you had also in the physique division, you had Yoon Kim from South Korea.
yeah, yeah. So basically, anybody who was spoken to when COVID started, they'll be able to compete. But yeah, very much. I don't know. We'll see what happens by the time Miss Olympia. Who knows when it's going to be held this year? We'll see. Again, everything's up in the air.
I think they're probably going to try to have it in November or October. You know, because something like that. Because last year had it December, but that'd be the better time to have December because most of the shows be round up. And, it's close to the end of the year. Maybe more crowds, especially now they're having it in Florida again because that's where they're gonna have it in Tampa. But the thing is, it still has to be careful. And I said again, I'm gonna say this again to all you competitors who are competing, you're doing shows. Adhere to my advice. When you're backstage, you don't know who's who. Unless you had get vaccinated, wear a mask. Protect yourself. Like in boxing, protect yourself at all times. If you gotta go on stage with a bunch of people, wear a mask. The judges may not like you to say, "Hey, I'm doing it for my safety." You know, I understand some people have the mentality to say, "Nah, I'm healthy." But here's the thing: is this virus can affect anybody. It doesn't matter how healthy you are. And then also, if you have any histories, underlying issues like heart issues, lung issues, something that if you have some, if you, I know there's some bodybuilders I know of that have uh, what's that thing? Um, my brother used to have when he was younger. Um, I know of it. I forgot the name of it. It's like when you breathing hard, you got to take a insulin. It's what's it?
Asthma.
Asthma. Yes, you have asthma. Any kind of that kind of problem. You rather be safe than sorry, because that's all it takes.
Yeah, yeah. And we see like these places can be breeding ground just for any kind of germs wise. Yeah, just be as safe as you can, and don't let peer pressure get in the way too.
Hmm.
There's some people who are like less afraid. It's like what, just worry about yourself. And that's all that really matters. Yeah. So anyway, I think New York Pro. Um, I think the one competitor I found to be the smallest and up front I found was uh, LaDawn McDay. I don't know
Yeah,
why, but she seems to not be as big as I thought she was going to be.
yeah. Well, Don, she didn't come in great condition, especially since she won the Europe Pro last year. No, I mean the Tampa Bay Pro last year. I'm sorry, and she just didn't come as. I mean, I was talking with some bodybuilders here and there, and just giving information, some feedback, and I asked some information. Somebody told me this. This is one of my confidential informants that Margie V. Martin offered to help her get ready and prep, but she turned her down. And I'll tell you this like this: Margie V. Martin was training Brittany O'Vail. Remember Brittany O'Vail? Back in 2017, Brittany won the Chicago Pro. Now Brittany turned pro. Brittany beat Teresa Invicic for in the overall at the Nationals about 4 or 5 years ago. And then her first pro show was the Chicago Pro. She won that show, but I think somebody said for natural reasons or whatever, she didn't do the Chicago Pro. You know, and not even the person who placed second place behind her was Victoria Dominguez. She didn't compete. That show was the same show where Tina Williams gained her pro card. No, not Tina Williams. Uwana Hippick. She got her pro card because she won the Miss International that year. But Margie offered to help Ladon. You know, and she turned it down, and that was a mistake. I think anybody any of these top level women who are the top, we got to think about Margie is a two-time Miss Rising Phoenix
Rising
winner.
Phoenix.
Yeah, number two at Miss Olympia. She has competed at Miss Olympia in the past and made the top five. I think I would believe that. I think 2014. I think she made the top five, and you would think, she has won back-to-back shows. I know she won one year. One year she competed at the Toronto Pro and the Omaha, and won those two shows back to back.
Yeah.
And you would think anybody who could really help you with getting ready for a show, you would reach out, especially somebody who's a second runner up to Mr. Olympia. I think that you would want to take that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't really get why she wouldn't. I don't know.
Well, Well, most of that thing's about pride. Sometimes it's about they feel like sometimes it's also competitive nature of it. Some people feel like that they might feel like they might be sabotaged, something like that, and sometimes it does happen. But also, some think they have a better idea, a better plan. But then it's like this, like in MMA. Like I follow MMA, and sometimes the fighter they goes through a bad losing streak, and they decided to leave the camp they were working with, the gym they've been at for a long time, and then they make improvements. And that's it's like any sport. If one thing's not working for you, and you've been doing the same thing for a long time, it's time to change, you know, um, your plans or
Yeah,
change, just go to somebody who knows. Like as you know, a lot of these ladies I know, like I mentioned, somebody mentioned Charles Glass. Charles Glass is a well-known trainer and former bodybuilder. He works with Hello Trevino. He works with several other bodybuilders, and they reach out to him. Alina Pupa, she has worked with Lisa Cross. Right now she's working with Tina Williams. She's worked with she. I mean, Alina. Even though Lena has been the second runner, that's a good example too. Alina being a former second runner-up for Miss Olympia twice, and also she won the Tampa Bay Pro. She won Rising Phoenix. Alina is a good example of somebody who knows what she's doing because she has helped and trained several other bodybuilders before, and they did pretty good. Lisa Cross did pretty good when she was on Alina. There was a bodybuilder named Jeannie Rusa, I think that's her name right, and she looked pretty impressive. She had competed since 2018, and I think she competed at the Hawaiian Pro, and she took second. But there was only three competitors that show. It was Nikki Chartrand, her, and Patty Corbett. Sorry. But then also, I got some information also. One of the Z competitors from the show, Trisha Schmick, or Verizon, or whatever name she goes by.
yeah, I know.
She's switching over to female bodybuilding, and I said that I predicted because from the looks of her, she looks too. She has too much development to be physique. Physique is more leaner, streamlined, female bodybuilders compared to the girls who are more, massive, more bigger. I mean, a lot bigger. I mean, she's too. I think that's why she's moving over because she's too big for the division. And I think if she competed at the Women's Pro show, she probably would have done better instead of getting 6 in physique.
Yeah, yeah. And I think again, that's one of the benefits of having physique is you have a lot of these, back and forth kind of things. Like if it doesn't work out here, I'll go here. But if it doesn't work out here, I'll go here. Um, um, so yeah. So yeah. New York Pro. I found it, a little bit, not too many familiar faces. Familiar names. But it is the beginning of the season, and a lot of these shows are coming up sporadically. And we're not really to the big shows yet, so we'll see how things go from here. I'm just curious, are we going to see either some old names come back up to compete this year, or are we going to see like new rising stars? Somebody who will consistently place like in the top like 5.
I can't really say. Some ladies I've been following. One thing that one bodybuilder I follow by name is Reba Bello, and she's been in the game for a long time. And from the information I gathered, she's because I was like chatting with her via IG, and she said she may not compete this year because it's the cost of everything. Try to get prep. You got to remember it's expensive for these ladies. And I was trying to
Yeah.
tell her maybe she want to do a GoFundMe, but she says nah, she want to do something like that because sometimes it doesn't work out as well as you should. Most people don't want to help out, and I go stand her point, and she's a very she's a very proud woman. You got to respect that about her. I sent her a little package, some just some nothing really much, just something maybe like some like like something around that she can use around the house or something like that she might need, you know, and but really it's just gonna be mostly what the problem is this it's about expenses. As I said before, bodybuilding, being compared to bodybuilding is not a wealthy job. Is
No.
and a lot of these ladies have to do things to make money. And then the ones who are lucky enough to have a full time job that can really help out with their sport, that's good. But others, they have to find ways that to do the video sessions, they do the sessions, something like that. But
Or spouses.
the spouses will help them out. One thing that really need is that promoters need to take a chance with some of the women bodybuilders. They don't want to take a chance because they don't think they can sell. Get put them on. That's why you rarely ever see. So it's only a handful of women who get the opportunity to have a sponsor from like one of these supplement companies and one of these apparel companies like that. It's such a only a handful. It's really truly only a handful. But the rest really have to struggle, and that's why Lisa Cross. They say, well, Lisa Cross. One thing with her because of what she does, Lisa Cross does hardcore porn, and some people feel like that hurts her in a career. I think she might be competing. I'm not certain. With one thing is with the travel restrictions, she can't come over here. But there are a couple of shows going to be done overseas. A show in Portugal and a show in the Romanian Pro. So I thought she was going to do the Romanian Pro last year, but she didn't do it. And I thought the same thing with Jay Fuchs, but Jay didn't do it. But they really want to come here because this is where the biggest shows and big opportunities are. Uh, you know, what they had to do, like I said ago, if they truly had to come here, they had to do a quarantine for about a month, meaning they had to 2 weeks one place. Like I think Irene Anderson before she got here, because she did both the Rise of Phoenix and the Olympia. She quarantined 2 weeks in Turkey, then did the Rise of Phoenix, and then did the Olympia, and then she had to do another 2 weeks in Turkey before she went back to Sweden. You know, and any other competitor, they got to do the same. One time I was on a chat with Virginia Sanchez, and she got an invite because she put in an invitation for the Rise of Phoenix, but then she changed her mind because she said she couldn't leave because her son was, in Spain, and she couldn't leave him behind. But now that she won the Romanian Muscle Fest last year, she has to come because you don't want to, this is an opportunity to compete at the Olympia. You can
Yeah,
so you don't want to miss it. You know, she can do
definitely.
this. Yeah, she can do she can do like what Irene do or some other competitors do, like Anne Moon, a physique competitor, and Barbara Manjan, both from France. They quarantine in Mexico. They did it. They did 2 weeks in Mexico, and then he came across the United States to compete at the Olympia. And she can do that. She can do Turkey or she can do Mexico. I think they said those are two countries you can do quarantine before you come into the United States.
Yeah, Canada and Mexico. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Are there any other British bodybuilders other than Lisa Cross for
She
active at the moment?
well, it's one I discovered. She's not a pro yet, and her name is Simone Faye Ellis, and she does physique, but she also does competes as a bodybuilder, and she's pretty impressive. I mean, all you got to do is um, let me see if I can pull up you know her on IG because I sent her a message about doing the interview. and also um, there's Wendy
McCready. I know who you're talking about.
McCready.
Wendy McCready.
Right now, I think we really focus on, yeah. You remember, yeah. Remember she placed fifth at the 2018 Rising Phoenix, and she last time she competed, I think, was at the Muscle Fest that same year. And let me see, not as other. And you got to know Tamara McCarr. She's British. Uh, not that many per se. There's a good number, growing number of physique competitors and other ladies from other divisions. Here goes. Her name is, I got her name wrong. It's Faye Simone Ellis, and she's pretty impressive. And all you got to do, I'm gonna put her IG description. I would say check her out. I mean, she's attractive. She got a nice physique. I think she's biracial because I think she's from Britain, so there's a good chance she's biracial or something like that. And I'll say check her out. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I said, she competes in the WABBA, or I think also WNABBA. It's a good chance that if she gets lucky, if they have any shows over there around about Great Britain, around about in Germany, something like that. And one show that's gonna be one thing is event's gonna be missing is the FIBO. FIBO is kind of like the all-star game for bodybuilding. It's a collection of like everybody. A lot of
Oh, yeah, the one in Germany. Yep.
yeah,
I know who
yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah. And where everybody comes together, it's kind of like they sell products. They have shows. And they canceled it last year because of COVID. And now I don't think they're gonna have it this year because it's still in some countries, especially in Germany. As you know, my friend Tisha Thomas, she is in Germany. They're still in the lockdown in that part of the world. So we might not see the FIBO till next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of competitors that they like to come out there, have a little fun, meet and greet, and it's like the all-star game to bodybuilding, like how the Olympias kind of like the championships
Yeah.
or the World Series. The FIBO is like the all-star game. Every sport has, you have championships, you have the all-star games, just like every sport's having except for boxing and MMA.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I always enjoy the IFBO.
Yeah.
A lot of good competitors. Um, so what is the next upcoming show that's coming out?
Well, you just had a show just this weekend. Was the Ultima, was it over? I think they had it in Louisiana, I believe. But it was just, there's no female bodybuilding stat show. It's
Yeah.
mostly the basics ones. I think is the basic shows that the IPB and the NBC are offer. Like that's bodybuilding, physique, figure, fitness, wellness, and the others. Then there was, yeah, I think the Puerto Rico Pros not till the end of next month. As you know, you told me before the other last week that the Puerto Rico Pro is going to be in the Bahamas, and it's going to be called a Bahamas show, but Puerto Rico is attached to it. I think it's supposed to be a 2 or 3 day event, I believe.
Yeah. And I think it's in June, right?
Yeah, about the end of June.
End of June.
And then I think usually probably have, I got to check, check see when the Omaha is, and also the Tampa, the New York. No, sorry, the New York. The Omaha, the Tampa, no, the Omaha, the Tampa, and Savannah, and the Norfolk. I think Norfolk is going to be in September, and then after that is the Rising Phoenix.
So very early to have the Rising Phoenix, but
Mm-hmm. But this year is because it's beginning
yeah,
of it. because it became invitational. You
Yeah.
don't really need the points to compete. You got to put in your paperwork to get invited.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's up in flux.
Mhm.
I guess it's because I'm just um, not quite used to everything yet. Uh, but yeah, I guess this is the new world we gotta live in.
Yeah. It's
Uh, yeah. So we will see what is up and coming in the future of the sport. I hope we have a lot more competitors showing up.
Yeah, and I think one point they were talking about like I talked to some. There's a competitor by the name of Abby Jimenez, and she is a competitive physique competitor, and Abby's impressive. She is impressive, and we were talking one night because she lives in the Philippines, and we were chatting, and she really wants to come over here and compete. But the thing is because of the travel restrictions in the Philippines. Their travel restrictions are, I would say, a bit extreme. There's a good chance that it might be, they'll probably open the Philippines 50% in 2002, and then there's some predictions that they might open up all the way in 2023. You know, and she really wants to compete. Like I'm going to put her IG. I would say check her out. She's impressive. She's like wow. You know,
Yeah,
and I think
I'll definitely,
yeah, because I
I
think
definitely
she's
will check her out.
yeah, I think she's good. I feel like she's going to compete in bodybuilding. I feel like that. And then there's also another upcoming bodybuilder by the name of Hoda Lopez, and she's from Honduras. Honduras. Yeah, she's from
Yeah,
Honduras,
Honduras,
and
Honduras.
yeah, and she said she wants. She said she can beat this shit. Because she earned a pro card at the 2019 um, Miss International. She's a physique competitor for a good while, but she made the switch to bodybuilding in 2019. But I think she won the women's heavyweight, and then she won the overall. One thing about her, she has that new tattoo now. Ever seen her? And I don't know. That's I know she had tattoos before. She has those ones around her arm, from her hands up to her forearm. But that one on her neck, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it's just I guess it's all just different taste. But you just mentioned two countries that are in the third world. Um, so what I looked up about COVID and what I've been hearing about is because it's going to take a while for the vaccinations to get to the third world as opposed to the developed world that has a medical industry, its own medical industry, and you know a vaccination like the United States has a very big medical industry. That's why the vaccination, Britain too, to a certain extent. Um, that was why they were able to push these vaccinations out so quickly as opposed to other countries. And some of these countries are going to have to take a while. So, from what I've looked up, we could see COVID maybe popping up, flaring up in some countries, and then like dying down in the third world for like 8 years, from what I heard. So it could just be like depending on like what kind of country um, that pops up and then disappears. Because we're already seeing this in places like India, um, which doesn't have good infrastructure for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can also think about countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, also Brazil. I think Brazil was had a big was like I think Brazil was technically I think Brazil and the United States tied for the most cases. I mean,
Yes.
and that's like you're thinking but the problem is with those countries, there's a lot more poor. They don't have a good industry infrastructure compared to America, but still. And also, one place that's often I heard people told me this: Costa Rica and Africa have been doing pretty good under COVID because Africa has a young population, and Costa Rica also it has a pretty good medical you know medical established just at level because they focus really on more about the country more about the people than the country. And that's the thing is we
Yes.
have countries that actually help the citizens like they do pretty well. You hear about how people say, why don't these people come from that country? These people come from that country because that country offer more goods and services for their people than this country. So when people see opportunity, you know what? Let me go here where I can have there's more to offer than me staying where I'm at. You can't fault nobody who wants to comes to a place where there's more to offer them than where their home is.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really just depends on how powerful the state is, honestly. I mean, if you have like a very powerful state like China, for example, they were able to shut down large portions of their country and able to restart it up quite easily. And that's why they were able to escape COVID almost relatively unscarred, even though it started there. It was pretty much almost unaffected as opposed to like a place like
Because
India, where there's a lot of India. It's a long story, but basically it's been deindustrialized over several centuries. But yeah, this isn't really like a history video to say the least.
yeah, and then also countries like North Korea, not North Korea, South Korea, they were also on the ball about the time because North Korea don't know information because North Korea they're really private, they don't want nobody to know anything. But South Korea was on the
There
ball.
was some cases in North Korea too.
I know this is the case in North Korea, but they usually keep everything hush hush.
Yeah,
You know, but
yeah,
South Korea they were on the ball with theirs. They already had put in programs there, put in protocols and stuff like that. They even started playing baseball over North Korea before the United States. Because they have professional baseball teams over there, and America could have do the same thing, but the problem is America. The politicians here feel like you know this is kind of funny about politicians. They act like this money that the government gives is their money. It's not. You are a paid civil servant, and your job is to do what, as us as citizens, want you to do for us. One thing, people who are ignorant like this, one thing was the previous administration was given a plan to to stave off the virus, but because they had an idiot in the White House who thought the idea because they say like, oh, we don't need it, but like this, it's like having firefighters, a fire department. Their job is there just in case a fire does happen, and that plan that was created out of because of such things as the swine flu, Zika, and Ebola worked, and those diseases didn't spread as bad as they did, compared to this one. He was it was a plan. It was not the only reason why he didn't like it because Obama signed off on it. Obama didn't create the plan. He was given the plan by experts, doctors. You told him this is how we need to do, and this is how we need to do it. He looked at it, he read it, he said, "Okay, this is on you. You take care of it. I'm going to sign off of it." And that's it. And if you stuck to that plan that was there, that worked, you could have really staved off the virus. You probably wouldn't have as many people got sick. you probably would have kept it down to a certain level. I mean, it's also you could have enforced some laws in which, hey, you know what? Don't do this, don't do that. I understand you want to say, well, it's against my constitutional right. No, it's not. It's about health issues, and that trumps. I hate to say that word. That trumps over anything else. The good of the many trumps that of the few.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I think a lot of it has to do, honestly, with just ineffectiveness, laziness on a lot of part, and also a lot of corruption too. Um, there's a lot of really bad corruption in the United States that a lot of people don't want to talk about,
Hmm.
and a lot of it's legal too. So that's another thing.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, but you got to change the rules. But anyway, if you say like this, the New York Pro, like I said, it was a pretty decent show. Not enough bodies for a lot of people's opinions, especially for the two women's muscle bodybuilding division. That's women's bodybuilding and physique. One person that's really coming a star out of it is Alicia Kisling. I mean, this girl, she's a small girl, but she has that physique. I took in a PowerPointed a picture of her with like along with all the sports thing. What I'm gonna send you that picture later on when I get a chance. I put it. I sent it to some people on IG, and also I'm gonna send you that picture. You can see how her style is similar. She looked kind of like almost like you know uh, a mini Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
You look at her, her hair, how long her hair is, you know, and I'm gonna see you that picture later on when I get a chance. And I hope But I think if she comes in with a great physique, I think she can be a contender. She'll do the mistake that Rachel Daniels did. What Rachel Daniels did at the Olympia was she should have did two things. She either should have put her hair in a bun or put it in a ponytail. I think that probably her look probably hurt her more than anything.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. His looks is definitely
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
also
she
part of
come.
the aesthetics.
Yeah, she came in looking like I don't know, kind of like a Morticia Adams, something like or something like that. I mean, that hairstyle wasn't good for it. That didn't go
Yeah.
with her. They didn't go with her look. She should have did a ponytail or put it in a bun.
Yeah. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess we can wrap here. I think that was a good summary of the New York Pro.
Yeah.
Other than that, I guess we just gotta wait until the next show. I know I'm counting it down. We'll see which competitors are there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to sign off, George, because I'm going to
All
go
right.
watch some coracle cat videos. You know what coracle cats are?
Out there the cat with the long, long ears.
Yes, they're like these wild African cats. They look like
Oh yeah.
lynx. They're like 35 pounds, and they're like these wild cats that can jump like 9 feet. Oh, they're silly looking.
Oh yeah. This morning I was watching Maury Povich had an episode where it had like Jack Hanna. You know Jack Hanna? He was
Yeah,
on there and he had those cats on there with him.
they're silly looking.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I really appreciate you, Jared, and your time. We appreciate y'all coming by. We appreciate y'all likes. Share this. Share the video. Like, subscribe. I mean, we do this because we're a fan of bodybuilding. And we like to talk about the ladies because they need really. Here's the thing: is female bodybuilding really needs a lot of attention. There are 11 million channels dedicated mostly to the men, and maybe just a few channels here and there. Maybe those channels are more catered to the fetish than more to about education of the sport. And yes, we're gonna do some fetish stuff every now and then because we know that's how we get the other half in. But like I said, like I said, we appreciate y'all time. My man Marcus Bell for coming through as usual. Drop his like. It's my brother from CS Combat Sports. I'd like to thank our historian and our think tank, Jared.
And just to let you know, like, we're very serious about supporting the sport. I mean, I just donated like $400 to a certain female bodybuilder, and I got literally nothing out of it. So, in case you think like we're just grifters or something like that, we're quite serious about
Yeah.
supporting the sport.
Yeah, I do say thing too. Like when I do my shows, I do my interviews with the ladies. I donate some money to Kristen May a while ago. Also, I send a package to some ladies every now and then because they can always use the stuff for their training. I what stuff they might need for training or just everyday stuff. Especially with things going on. But like I said, we appreciate y'all for coming by. It's your man, aka All the Way George Page, the Emperor of Film Body Talk, along with my squire and hand of the king, Jared.
Yes, peace out, everybody. Um,
Like, yeah, I said, don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. We're out.